Did you know that there's an external interactive map that lets you mark off collectibles, treasure chests, warp trotters, and more in Honkai Star Rail? You want to be using this map to maximize your account's progression. You get a lot of free warps, credits, and general materials doing this. It'll save you a ton of time. The link's in the description below. This tip will help you level up your Honkai Star Rail experience, and here are some other ones as well. Herta's shop uses a currency that you obtain from completing the simulated universe and by filling your weekly points. This lets you buy warps and gets you some really strong light cones as well as the ability to superimpose them. Definitely aim to buy the light cones first, especially ones for your carry. Then you want to look to impose them before spending your currency on warps. Positioning might not feel like it's very important in this game, but if you're using taunts, then it kind of is. You want to put your taunt characters, such as the Fire MC, on the far sides left or right, as this will limit the amount of people hit by area of effect attacks. If your opponent uses an area of effect attack on the MC, who's in the middle, it'll hit people on both sides. Whereas if they're on the edge, it'll only hit 2 characters. World shops are super important, as each world has their own currency, which you can use to buy level up materials, experience materials, eidolons, and relics. You also get warps and other things for spending this currency, so you should probably go do that. This tip is super important for anyone who wants to play for a long time. Don't waste your fuel unless you're swiping your credit card. It'll be so much more important later when you're farming for relics. Fuel regenerates your Trailblazer energy. You get them by doing the battle pass, finishing quests, just completing general tasks within the game. Do not use this until later in the game. I promise you, you're going to regret it. Do not pull on the discount banner after you get a 5-star. The pity does not carry over from this banner to the standard one, so you probably won't get another 5-star within a couple pulls. I would avoid using your warps on this. If you're feeling really lucky, you can, but in general, it will just be better to do it on the main banner. If you're having a hard time completing content, look to level up your relics. You're going to change these out later in the game when you get 5-star ones, but the stat increases can be huge. You really don't need to worry too much about what relics you use now. The auto-equip feature is totally fine and can just help you get through the content. On top of this, when you use old relics that are already leveled up, to level up new relics, they have something like an 80% efficiency rate, so you really aren't losing out on that many materials, and it'll make your life so much easier. Pretty much the only way to get materials for traces is by doing the Crimson Calyx, so be sure to grind these accordingly. On the other hand, XP for light cones and characters can be bought in stores, so they're less important to grind, especially early on. You can get warps from ascending your characters to certain levels, with the first ascension being the big one. You get these warps for every odd number ascension, meaning you get it for the first ascension, the third, the fifth, etc. You should do this for your characters when you can, especially for the first levels, as you get a free warps for very, very low amount of resources. Later on, it can be kind of expensive though, so early on, it's not a bad idea. Make sure to look up the upcoming banners online, as well as the new characters that'll be coming out, so you can consider saving your warps for them. If you're free to play, this can be huge if you're trying to plan your account accordingly based on characters that you like. On top of that, I wouldn't stress too much about how good these characters are. You're going to have a lot more fun if you just get the characters that you want and like, but it's always good to do a little bit of research before you pull. Tip number 10.5 is to level up your Star Rail experience even further. Subscribe to my channel. As with most RPGs, it's important to interact with the world around you because there can be hidden surprises everywhere. For example, if you go through all the mailboxes and steal mail, there's an NPC that you can turn these letters into for about 1,000 credits each, and honestly, anything helps. On top of this, the trash cans have a fun little secret if you play their game, so go have fun talking to some trash can. Promise I won't tell anyone. When you get the free-to-play battle pass to level 40, you unlock something called self-modeling resin. This essentially lets you make a relic of your choice, picking the main stat, and honestly it seems really good, so be sure to keep your eyes open for this. Because of this, it'll be important to level up the battle pass as you go, so make sure to put the time into it as it will be rewarded. The main character is actually a very solid character, especially after you get their second form, so if you need a tank, you should consider using them. Unlike in other gacha games, the main character is actually pretty powerful. They're one of, if not the only hard taunts in the game currently, meaning they're guaranteed to be hit after using their skill. This includes lock-on abilities. If you make sure to follow the positioning tip from earlier in the video, the main character can be crucial to some accounts' progression. This next tip's kind of crazy and I didn't know it, but if you're losing a boss fight in the simulated universe, you can just close the game and reopen it and you'll be placed right back in front of them. This lets you skip the world grind and lets you just try again as many times as you want. You don't get to change your team or anything, but it's kind of like hard resetting a game that you just saved. Kind of OP. After 300 pulls on the standard banner, you get to pick a 5-star of your choice. So don't worry too much about who you have now, as you'll probably get to pick who you want later. I know 300 pulls may seem really far away, but you'll get there and get many other 5 stars in the meantime, so don't worry too much. Characters like Pila might not seem like the best fit for your team, but they can be really good to level up as they help so much with the second zone. Pila has the ability to remove buffs, which can prevent reviving, which some mobs do, and this can save you a lot of time and pain in the long run. A lot of 4 stars in the game are really strong right now, especially with a smaller character pool. Natasha is a great example of this, because she is one of the 2 healers in the game and is the only 4-star healer. You can get away with using any character that you want, but having a healer will make things so much easier for you. I promise if you do not have Bailu, try using Natasha. You get her for free. Side quests are super important as they don't only give you XP, but also Stellar Jades. While some quests may not have rewards listed right away, they will often be multi-part or multi-day quests, so make sure to do them all just in case. Your daily trainings give you a total of 1,300 Trailblazer experience. You need to be doing these every day if you want to level up. They also give you Stellar Jades, so we need to be taking these free warps where we can. It might sound obvious, but make sure you're using your Trailblaze energy as often as you can, especially after you catch up to the story. This and daily training will be your main way to level up. They are extremely important to your account progression because there are a lot of missions that will need you to be a certain Trailblaze level to continue, so make sure you're spending your resources when you can to get XP.